They shouldn't be able to hear us.
Okay.
They shouldn't be able to hear us. Uh-oh. They can't hear
Oh.
us. Hold on. Uh-oh. They can't hear us. Yes, 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 yes. Welcome to the Dragon's Den, baby. Appreciate everybody for coming through. This is the first episode of the podcast. And yeah, y'all see who's in here. It's my boy Six Lair, and we gonna give y'all some good information, some great news, and most of all, some great content, because that's why we here. And everybody's here to show for some great gaming situations. Now, with that being said, I appreciate everybody for showing up. Hit that share button. Let's get it out to the public and let's get it popping. Sick, what's good with you?
Yo, Saturday night, streaming live from New York. The Dragon Den podcast is finally on the air. Welcome everybody. Here we go.
Yeah, man. First, before anything, man, let's get into what made you a gamer, Sick. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
Man, just a kid from Brooklyn. My parents are from Haiti, and so not a lot of money and stuff, but family is everything. So it starts off with my older brothers and cousin. My cousin had a 2600. I don't even remember when it was, but it had to be before the age of 3. I was playing on that. Eventually he had a 5200. Then my older brother got a Commodore 64, and all the greats of the 80s, arcade and whatnot, I played on that computer. Even before I could read, even before I was allowed to play it, I learned how to read just to be allowed. I'm sorry, Alexa wants to talk at the wrong computer. Shut up. Wow, technology.
Oh, that works. That works, huh? Computer, shut up.
Yep, it works very well. But yeah, so he had a Commodore 64, and I played all the classics of the arcade era in the early 80s on that machine before the NES, and just continues on from there. Nintendo Genesis, TurboGrafx, just goes on and on until this day. Still playing games.
Nice. What other platforms that you like to talk on, like in terms of podcasts, things of that nature? Because everybody here don't know you, so you got to give people the information.
So a lot of people know me as predominantly an Xbox guy, but I game on every platform. It's easy for me to grab a PlayStation controller and rep all day too. So don't think it's any different, yo. PC, Xbox, Vita, VR, it don't matter. If the game is good, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna play it.
Now, new to the podcast scene yourself and the whole industry side, except for YouTube not having a channel, but give me your experience on what it's been like for this past year. How's it been for you? What's been like your interaction with the different people?
Well, there's a wide range of people in this world, and so too it is on the internet. In the gaming community, it's fierce and wild and varied, just like any other. There's some people out there who are genuine. There's some people out there who are not, and I see them coming on mile off. Like, If you're not genuine, I'm not messing with you. If I deal with you, if I speak to you, it's because you're genuine, automatic. It's not a decision that's, it just happens automatic. So
right.
I met all types of people, and some very venomous. You just gotta stay away from them, and you have to stay focused on what you're doing. And that's the lesson I've learned the hard way sometimes. But not in the worst of ways. It could have been worse, but hey, you learn one.
All right, so the positive sides, have you met a lot of good people? Because, I try to keep, surround you with, decent people, man. And
absolutely.
Because your energy is always top notch. Now, with that being said, people got to know you a little bit. Let me tell you what the Dragon's Den is going to be bringing y'all, man. We trying to give y'all great positive energy, talking about all systems across the board, giving y'all great gaming news, honest opinions, and just keeping y'all up to speed, man. There's 1,000 different podcasts out there, and I definitely want to keep this one fresh and brand new. Something I hope everybody can hear us clearly, and I hope everybody enjoy the visuals, man. Yeah, so with that being said, we're going to hop into our first topic, man. It's been hit a few times this week, man, but we're going to talk about Sony following the Microsoft way of taking their first-party games to PC, and going forward, it looks like most of their titles are going to the PC route. So, Sick, tell me what you think about that, man. Give me your honest opinion, and is this a good move for Sony?
Of course it's a good move for Sony. This isn't just the Xbox way or the Microsoft way. This is the way of business and gaming. 2020. Okay, even back in the late 360 PS3 era, when those consoles were getting long in the tooth, most of those games that I would have played, particularly if they're single player and not cross play, but if it was online or something, still
Right.
you still rock with your console of choice. But like for example, Saints Row 3, I bought that on PC. I rocked that out at 1080p 60 frames when a 360 or PS3 example give you 720p 30 frames. That was nothing new to me then.
Right.
But I'm not just a console gamer. I play on everything. Some people are stuck to their console of choice for whatever reasons they have, and so they're gonna rep for that, and try to minimize the other platforms and stuff and see it as a competition or enemy. It's not about that. And the writing has been on the wall for a long time. Microsoft got a lot of flack for it, and now Sony is doing the same thing. In a lot of people's eyes, they think they're being betrayed, but they're not. You've had these games on your platform for a while until the sales dried up. That's when they switch over to selling these games on PC. So if you rep blindly for a certain platform,
Right.
hey, at least you could realize and accept that these games are on your platform until it's basically dead, and then it moves on to PC and other platforms like that. So if you really see it in that foolish way, you can comfort yourself with at least looking at it like that. But long story short, cross-play and having games on multiple platforms are a good thing. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise, because it's all good.
Well, I look at it like this, man. If you support a platform and your game touches another platform, you should be happy because it's bringing your ecosystem of a different gamer into your circumference. So I think it's a good thing. I think the crossplay is definitely amazing because now dudes don't gotta, like Call of Duty, they don't have to say my friends play on Xbox or my friends play on PlayStation, and they had to make a console choice because of maybe their majority of friends play on PlayStation, and they had an Xbox or whatever, or even PC. Now we all just playing together, and it doesn't really matter the platform. So I don't think people and gamers should take it to heart if their games go to another platform, in terms of that's going to help the ecosystem of the game. Because I'm pretty sure when more people buy the game and you like it, it's going to get a sequel, especially when people got more hands on. So I think Sony following the Microsoft lead is definitely something they should look into, keep doing, and they're almost following everything Microsoft doing with in terms of putting first party games into PlayStation Plus for free. So as long as you got the subscription, I think that's kind of a bonus with that.
Yeah.
So everybody shouldn't be, pissed off about something they really can't control, because Sony is definitely seeing a bigger bag. And if anybody know the history of 360, Microsoft, games for Windows was a failure, and Microsoft revamped that motto, and now it's a huge success. Seeing all of these games drop from Microsoft, yes, it hits the Windows stores first, but when it hits Steam, it's like in the top 10, their games, top selling games, and they're making money on every front. So I'm pretty sure Sony looked at that and said, you know what, we need some of that change too. So them coming over is good for people on PC, because I know people on PC wanted to play God of War. I mean, let's just be real here. The game is amazing. So now they got a chance to play it, or they had to spend $500 or $600 or $400 for a console to play one game. So it's good that another ecosystem can play these games. Now, with that being said, I'd like to shout out to the chat, man. I see everybody out here. The chat lit, man. The Megatrons of the world, the Reigns, the Blues. Yo, it's going so fast. I'm trying to do 100 things and talk to y'all at the same time, but I'm greatly appreciate everybody here. My boy 100 in the building. Yobi, Monkey Punch. That's what I'm talking about. Super G, I see y'all, man. And if I missed anybody, I'm going to try to get back to y'all. Now, let's get this podcast to keep it moving, because we ain't going to do no 3 hours.
No.
So, now, Sony not supporting Death Stranded 2 because they was disappointed in Death Stranded sales of the first game. Now, I want to know, Sick, is there a conspiracy behind this, man? Like, is there a conspiracy behind this? Or is it just a Sony bailout early situation, because you know how they do the Vitas or the PSPs of the world? Is this one of those situations where it's it should be a sequel to this game, because me myself, shout out to my boy Bloody, I was like, this game just isn't good. Like, I don't care who made it. The game was very disappointing. So do you think Sony should have pumped in another few $1 million to pump out a sequel, or to improve the current game? Tell me what you think about that.
Okay, so even before I answer the question, I just want to establish something. When I first got my Nintendo when I was 8 years old, my first third-party cartridge was Metal Gear. Okay,
it's a great pickup. That's a great pickup.
Great. Facts. That was man. I was reading X-Men, and in the back here had the ad with all the weapons
right.
lined up. You remember that ad? So yeah, I went there to buy Super Mario Brothers 2, but they had the chip shortages back then. I went to Consumers, and they had Metal Gear. Picked that up, and I've loved that series. And Kojima, his games, Police Knots, Snatcher. This guy's an auteur. Sometimes they're a little off, and you get a Death Stranding.
Facts.
The game, listen, I know a lot of people say opinions and all these things, but here's a fact. The game is a literal walking simulator. Simulate in the way you walk. That's a simulation of walking. Like, okay, people said that as a joke, and then a game comes out that does that. Okay? And it flopped hard. And just goes to show with the point we were speaking about before, it came to PC quickly. Yeah. Within the same year, within a couple of months. Because the sales had dried up already.
They needed those sales quick.
You're laughing, but I mean this. Factually, this really happened like that. So you look at Horizon Zero Dawn. It also came to PC. That came to PC way after.
Yeah, years after. Yes, it did.
Years after. Its sales slowly dried out. Now they decided to put it on PC.
Facts.
That Stranding was pretty quick because the game flopped. It flopped in Japan. It flopped everywhere.
I tried to play it.
Money into the second one?
I tried to play it, and it was like pulling teeth. Like, you would walk for like 45 minutes and see nothing. Like, I was like, yeah. Well, so you don't believe it? So you don't believe it deserves a sequel? Sony is right on this aspect for bailing out.
Unless the game is a totally different paradigm where they want to continue the plot and story, but it's a completely different type of game.
Right.
No, it's dead. They're not going to put money into this. These games, they cost a lot of money to make.
Right.
His engines, look at the Fox engine. That cost Konami a lot of money, and that's part of the friction that came between Kojima and Konami in the first place.
Right.
So he had to the Gorilla engine, I forget the name of it, that they used in Horizon Zero Dawn, and they put that into Death Stranding. And I mean, he showed off what the engine could do. You didn't have to work on the engine.
I'm gonna tell you one thing that game had was awesome cutscenes. the interaction in the cutscenes was just amazing. Just that the rest of the game is like non-existent. All right. Now, we had another big event this week, man, and a lot of people was hard on Sony, man. They was very hard on them. And give me your opinions of State of Play, man. Tell me what you think about it.
Listen, we've seen so many worse shows. I could sit here and complain. And at very first, I had a negative outlook, and I still don't have a positive outlook, like, oh my God, it was amazing, because it wasn't. But it had a couple of, everybody's talking about seafood. Everybody's talking about Kina. A lot of people talking about Crash Bandicoot and the updates with that, and a lot of people talking about Returnal. And Final Fantasy updates for PS5. Right, and the Final Fantasy updates for PS5. And apparently the mobile ports of the Final Fantasy, of the older versions of Final Fantasy 7, like the whole collection, the Dirge, the Cerberus, I think, the one that was on the PSP, like they're making mobile versions of those that look beautiful. They look classic, but updated at the same time, and I'm very interested in that too. I don't know if that was on the show or if that was released separately immediately after. But my point being, even if you don't consider anything else, it showed you a lot to be concerned about and interested in, to more accurately say. Everybody's talking about seafood. Mwah, that looks beautiful. Everybody's talking about Kina. Everybody's talking about the Final Fantasy upgrade. But to be frank, I don't really see the difference in the Final Fantasy upgrade. Because they only put up a 1080p. They didn't do a Microsoft and stream in 1080.
and then drop a 4K direct feed. They didn't do it, so I couldn't see it either. I was just like,
Yeah.
it looks the same, but I have it already, so thank God I'll get those upgrades. I look at the insiders, I look at the Nintendo Switch shows, and I don't look for I don't have big aspirations for these shows. So I don't really come out disappointed. I could say, yo, that wasn't good. But I thought the PlayStation one this week, I thought it was pretty solid because Kina, before we saw was CGI. And we actually got to see gameplay. Right. We actually saw. So I was hyped with that. Sifu. Yeah. That looks like, that looks like my Channel 5 back in the days. I'm tearing your head off. You know what I'm saying? And I'm definitely playing that type of game. I was interested in that. The Odd World was going to PlayStation Plus. I thought that was good. You know what I'm saying? And going into the next subject I was going to get into. I like updates for next gen, and that's the next thing we're going to get into. But it's good to see them giving these current gens. Well, it is current gen now, but the current gen systems, PS5s and Xboxes, it's good to see the developer going out there and supporting these systems that we went out there and spent our hard-earned cash for, and get these technical advancements, because it does rejuvenate a game. You know how many people playing Division because it got 60 frames now? That game has been on a lower tier of games being played on the internet, and besides upgrades, the only other thing that boosts games being played is damn Game Pass. Let's just be real here. Game goes in Game Pass, everybody starts to play. You know what I'm saying?
The same method too.
Yeah. Right. So, looking at it like that, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, it gave me good information. I'm not just gonna be. I heard some dudes like it's trash, and I was like.
And to be honest, I had a pretty negative view, and then I thought about it.
They showed a lot of gameplay, and they showed my favorite thing. Dates. I don't want to see a trailer in a game 5 years off, man.
But I do got to get Sony behind on one little aspect. This is something they've been doing since at least the PS2 days. Anytime they have like an E3 conference, they're particularly egregious with this. But this is something they did at the State of Play. They've done it before. They'll do it again.
Facts.
Okay? And that's when, at the very end of a segment, when they're showing a game, they show the name, and if they already have a date, and then they show the platforms it's on. And in the case of Sifu, it's coming out to PS4, PS5, and PC. So now, it says on the screen, PS4 and PS5. Not only does it not say PC, I don't think, although I could be wrong about that, but I'm going to put that to a side. The voiceover of the woman says PS5. Like, they're trying to push PS5, and understandably, but what they're doing, it's like, there's a lot of fans out there, not fans, fanatics, let's call them what they are, who are out there who are making this narrative that it's a bad thing that these games are coming to PS4 because it proves that these games aren't next gen.
Well, that's not true. That is not true.
Right.
That's a fabrication of the industry. That's like saying I got a 3080 and you got a 2080, and your game comes out on your 2080. It's not supposed to be supported. No, they're gonna support all platforms, and one platform is gonna look better than the other. Same thing they do on a PC with graphic cards. There's no difference. So when they be like, "Oh, it's being held back," no, it's not. They're just gonna hold back those special effects. That's a fact.
I mean, the Xbox has two consoles, to fit into this mold.
Right.
To fit into your pocket mold.
Right.
So, like, this has been a thing in gaming since forever.
Facts.
When you look at it.
Yeah,
not
forever.
to complain about, but they don't need to misrepresent it like that. It's a win for them. Like, it's going to PC, even if it's on the Epic Store, which is another thing I'd like to bring up in relation. Like, I'm one of those PC guys who doesn't like the fact that the Epic Store is going out and buying exclusives. And see, the problem with it, I know a lot of people don't understand, and shout out to ILP. Last week they were talking about this, and they really were laughing about it and dismissing it. I get it, they don't appreciate, understand, or respect that because they're more predominantly on the console, right? But you must understand, like, when Origin is out there and you playing stuff, that's EA's games on Origin. That's Ubisoft on Uplay. That's one thing. But to buy a game to have on your store, this is kind of like what we're hearing about Google, how they paid millions of dollars to get games on Stadia. And Now, in the examples like with Red Dead 2, it was on everything, so it didn't hurt anybody.
Right.
But people like Steam for a reason. It earned its respect because it has features and things that the others don't. But in this situation, I feel like Sony is going to have more of these titles that come to PC on Epic. And believe what you might, I don't have a problem with that because that's a different paradigm. That's not the same thing. I don't want to get into the detail, but that's not the same thing. So I'm cool with that, and I really do expect more of these Sony PlayStation games that come to PC are going to be on the Epic Store rather than the Steam Store where they fit. Not all the time for either one, but it will be or both.
Right. My thing was with PC with them stores. I mean, on PC, you download the Epic Store. You don't care. You really just gonna buy the game from Epic. I mean, that hurts Steam if you have to get the game from Epic. But only thing on PC really pissed me off. Y'all want to push this VR platform, but y'all Oculus want to have exclusives, and then Vive want to have exclusives. But you see, they stopped that immediately because not enough early adapters. Now
everybody's working together on Steam. Yeah.
With that being said, let's talk about the next gen system support since the launch of these two consoles, and I want to hear your opinions on the games that they have upgraded and shown you the differences between the systems. Have you been pretty much happy with that, or what is your opinion?
Well, early on there was some hiccups, and which is why my opinion and what's happening now don't look like they align, but they actually do. But it takes time for them to align. So I think the standard should be what's happening now. For example, with Final Fantasy, you have Final Fantasy 4. Now they're making an update or compatibility or improvements to be compatible to PS5. You shouldn't expect to have to pay for that game again to get those updates and expansions and improvements, unless it's a whole new level of things. But even then, when the proximity of the original release is so close, even then you don't have that excuse. It should just be you get those for free. That should be the standard.
Facts.
On Xbox, it's the standard. On PlayStation, it's not a part of the system, the platform, so the developers have to do that work. And shout out to developers like Square Enix who are putting in that work.
Right.
And this is why early on, it's going to be a couple here and there, and it's select, and those that do it, they get the kudos, like Final Fantasy, The Division, Ghost Recon, and others. So they get that love and respect because they put that extra work in, and we understand that it's extra work at this early point.
Right.
But eventually, if you're not doing it, you're going to get clowned justly for it, because this is the standard, this is the way it should be. It should not cost me a dime extra for the updated version of the game.
Okay.
Especially early on. But later on, if it's like a year or two, they do that with games that have like the definitive edition with all the DLC and whatnot, and then packaging the next gen update in there as well. I could understand that. But even then, the old version should at least work in better performance, which is the case on both platforms, let's say.
Facts.
Anyway, thankfully. But these updates are few and far between in this early point and these games are great fillers. There's not that many next-gen titles out. A lot of people give it Xbox the flag, particularly early on, although that narrative has died down a lot now, that Xbox had nothing next-gen. The reality of it is both had very few in the way of next-gen. And these updates and titles, they fill in the gap. You look at Division 2, it looks totally different,
Oh, yeah.
And as Ghost Recon fans, we played Ghost Recon for years. This is where Runaway Dragons came from. We were a clan. We played Ghost Recon. Look at Division. And even with the first one, the first time they showed it, I got that Ghost Recon vibe. Remember me saying that to you?
Right,
and now I see that in 60 frames with the gunplay and everything. Mwah. Destiny, all these games, they're getting these updates. And cross-play, too.
Yeah.
Very, very key. That's another thing that has to be standard. If you don't have it, you look like a clown.
Yeah, facts.
Tekken 7, I want cross-play. I want
cross-play in 2K basketball. They need it. That and dedicated service. Facts.
Yes.
Facts.
Yes. Now baseball is going to have that. I mean, and I guarantee you that MLB
it's going to sell way more.
MLB for that. Yeah, it's going to sell way more. Everybody's going to be playing together. It'll be all cool. It works on Call of Duty. Okay, everybody's saying this thing about PC platform.
But you know what's crazy? Activision forced Sony hand. They didn't ask for permission. They just said we doing it. And then remember how it started? Fortnite, Epic said they did it by mistake. Turned it off.
Just to prove that it was that simple.
Just on and off switch. I thought that was awesome.
Very smart move. It gets the support out there from the people when they see, once the genie is out the thing, that you can't
Yeah.
put it back in.
Yeah.
And Activision and Epic knew what they were doing, and they pushed the button, and they just have to bow, and they just have to kowtow to it. But I remember a time when Sony was the one pushing for crossplay when Microsoft wasn't, and the roles have reversed
No,
now.
Microsoft. No. We got to correct that. Microsoft was pushing
360
cross-play with PC.
Right.
They didn't
But
push
I mean the true
cross-play with
right.
console.
Right.
They was
Right.
cross-playing.
True crossplay.
Yeah, Shadow. What was that game? Something Shadow used to fly around.
Section. Oh, Shadowgate. Yes.
Shadow. No. The other. It was the multiplayer
Section 8?
game. It was Shadow something, and it had you could play with PC and
Shadowrun.
something like
Shadowgate.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They started that, and then Quake on Dreamcast. We was playing with PC dudes.
Mm-hmm.
That's still that's a Microsoft push.
Yep.
That's a Microsoft push, man. Now, being that we gonna get on that. Well, let me say this for the record. Shout out to my boy Megatron in the chat, and we're gonna talk about the next gen upgrades. My biggest thing about these next gen upgrades that being what I brought up on Megatron for. We went out here and spent some money for these 8K LGs, and we want that 120 work. And a lot of these games have been getting that 120 work upgrade. That's 120 frames per second. So for me, that's been the turning point for being happy. Games like Rainbow Six, the new Samurai Showdown, Call of Duty, Dirt 5. Because now we done spent these. Yeah, well, I don't really play Ori, but that's a good one too. And it's like we get out here, we spend this money for these TVs. I'm like, I hear all these so-called media people, oh, they're pushing 120 frames and people don't have the TVs. Well, the people who do are very happy because 120 is an upgrade for next gen. Give me 120 sometime and keep the visuals the same, especially for multiplayer. So that is a feature that I've really been like, it got 120? It got 120 like a crackhead because I think that's just crazy.
See it, but you feel it.
No, you feel it. You can't see 120. You definitely feel it though. Because if you could, like the Division with the 60 frames per second upgrade, and even with Microsoft pushing with the older titles that the developers don't even have to do anything with the frame rate or go back in and set the code themselves. Microsoft is doing it for the developer. It's definitely something I'm excited for, man. And with that being said, we're going to hit the elephant in the room real quick. Because my man Craig has been getting destroyed in Halo Infinite. And people in the chat, y'all know this is a fact, man. They was killing Craig. His name was KC. Kill Craig. I thought that was crazy how everybody went in. I know I was disappointed hearing Halo Infinite got pushed back. But I really got to go into these scenes that I'm about to show you here and say, my God, have a few months changed Halo Infinite. We have to be seriously impressed with the visuals we are seeing from 343. I mean, these visuals are stunning, and it is good to see these visual improvements on a game that wasn't even done. I'm saying, like, man, it was so bad. The media was just picking Microsoft apart. And I want to see that energy stay the same after watching or looking at these pictures. Sick, did you see these pictures?
Bro, listen, I'm going to say it the way I've heard on Twitter because it honestly is fact. Now, it sounds like some, constant war, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Let's be frank. You know what stole a lot of the thunder off the state of play and the discussion around, what was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was this Halo announcement and these images, Everybody was like, and keep in mind, 4K 120 HDR too, by the way.
Facts.
Now we had a roundtable discussion, after the Halo reveal, and there was yourself, myself, Don, Mega, and others, and in particular, you and Don, had some negative things to say, particularly Don, and so I polled people like yourself, Don, and others, and I put y'all into two groups. the people who were okay with what they saw and knew what was going on, and the other side who weren't even worried about the graphics as much, but they have issues with the game in and of itself, design and other things wise, right? So the graphics, that was obvious. It was obvious as soon as you've seen it. If you've been around the block, you already know what's going on. You already know how that these textures weren't done, because you see Master Chief looking flipped, right?
Right.
But then his weapon looks worse than in Halo 3 or 4 or Reach or whatever. Like, they've done way better 2 generations prior.
Right.
So we knew something was up. You look at these pictures, to be honest, this is exactly what I thought it was supposed to look like from the beginning. Because there's 3 things to consider when we first saw Halo Infinite. The graphics, the gameplay,
right,
story. Know about the graphics. They just addressed the issues that we had with the graphics. Nobody's complaining anymore. We saw the gameplay. Nobody complained about the gameplay. The traversal. And we don't even know everything, but we know enough to be like, we like that. It's just like when you try Destiny for the first time, you know that gunplay is good because that's that Halo gunplay, because that's from Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
You could see it when you see Halo, even though none of us have played it.
Right.
That it's right. Okay? And the story is another thing, and there's lots of debate, and how the Halo community is just as deep as Star Wars fans when it comes to the lore and all of that.
Right.
There's lots of discussion. We've had that leak audio log and all of that. There's more discussion going on with that as comes with Halo. So the one issue that they had, they've already addressed. And about Craig, let's remember, and I've had this in mind the whole time.
It's my boy Casey JoJo.
I've been watching the trailer, or the original footage, shown at E3 the year before. Or last year, right? A lot of people are doing videos out there, and they have that footage in the background as their B-roll playing. And the screenshot that they got from Craig, don't forget, you remember that part where it's the 2 brutes who drop in their pods and he shoots one and kills one?
Right.
He got the other one. He's shooting him, his helmet knocks off, he's shooting him in the knee, and he's tripping as he's running, and just as he's about to come in and he elbows him and he's done. They took listen, I've watched that footage so many times. I can't, and I have a 120 hertz LG C10. I have a beautiful display, and I'm sitting right here from it. Okay, this illumination you see on me is from the screen, right? It's lighting me up by itself. This is not to brag. It's just what it is. Okay. So
you looking like a glowworm don't matter? That don't add to.
All I'm saying is, it passes so quick. You have to freeze frame it to see it. I have a fast, beautiful, sharp TV, and I've looked for that one frame multiple times, and I don't see it unless you freeze frame it.
Right.
All these people, that should say everything you need to know about this whole Craig meme thing to begin with. That was just absurd. The game already was looking nice. You could see the textures were unfinished.
It was sharp as hell. But you, let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. First of all, let me just say this for the record. We saw some popping in that video.
Right.
Dudes was like, "Cause y'all don't have the power of the SSD." And I said, the game is not done. Man. But from what we noticed in the last few Digital Foundry videos, Xbox is beating PS5 in loading times. Just saying. I mean, I just need dudes to keep the same energy. I really need them to keep the same energy.
I can't understand how it's really that possible either.
No, it is. The velocity architecture. It's not just the SSD that's fast. The whole system runs fast. The SSD can feed you all the work you want. But if you can't accept it, just a little, just the power of the SSD is going to take us over the hump. I'm still trying to get over that. But, proceed. Go ahead. Finish. My bad.
Yeah, load times are fast, though. But load times are fast, I'm noticing.
They are fast, but they getting beat.
Both systems beautiful. But it's the one that hypes up the SSD, and it's supposed to be twice as fast. And we know the velocity architecture is definitely closing that gap. But this is what I was trying to allude to, that it shouldn't be that much, but we see it constantly.
Yeah.
We see it so often.
The Devilman Cries.
It's the exception
the Call of Duties.
It doesn't even boot fast.
The 2Ks.
And then,
the Maddens. I mean, the list is growing.
Right. I don't even know if you want to link into and transition into the whole expansion part. You want to talk about that now, or
what?
Because I think
no. We're gonna get to that next. We're gonna finish with that, and then we're gonna keep it pushing. Then we're gonna close this out.
These SSDs should be fast and all of that, and it's and to be honest, it's within margin of error. It's not like the Xbox is trouncing it in load time. But for the platform that advertised so much faster and it was all these things, and you had your Fanatics as always, because it really wasn't Sony that much. It was really the Fanatics.
No. It was Mark Cerny.
Well,
He said power of the SSD. SSD don't have power.
Okay, well, hey, Sony fans. I tried.
Oh, it's like RDNA 3.0.
You have speed and all of this, but you keep losing, and anytime you win, it's like within margin of error. You're not really. It's egg on your face all day, and I feel that's what. But that's really being quite petty because they're both incredibly fast. They boot up fast. You switch games. All of that is just beautiful.
Nah,
I love that.
It's a wrap. Anyway, man, let me not be messy on the first podcast, but you gotta look at some of these guys and just be like, you need to go read a book a little bit and get a little bit more knowledgeable, and then you understand what you're promoting. Jesus. But with the last topic of the day, before I get into that, let me shout out to the third panel member. Can't forget, this is another light-skinned podcast. No pun intended. Shout out to my boy PK. He is not here. He will be joining us next weekend, Saturday. And yes, I appreciate everybody. I see all the love in the chat, man. All the love. All my brothers is here. Yeah, K Mega. That was a little messy because it's a wrap. But I'm just saying, man, you just gotta be like, wow. Well, then they don't want to talk about it later. It's okay. But anyway, shout out to my brother PK. He will be on the panel next week. And then we'll have some guests drop through in the next coming weeks. And yeah, I hope y'all really enjoying this, man. It took me a long time to get this done, but now we here every Saturday, 7 o'clock, man. It's going to get better and better, and I appreciate everybody supporting the chat. I swear to God, I appreciate everybody, man. And with that being said, we're going to get into this last topic, man. PlayStation 5 is going to receive a firmware update so we can finally get some SSD help, because we need it. What was the SSD after formatting? 667 gigs?
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm complaining with an expansion card on my Series X. I'm glad I didn't buy too many games over there, because I would have been in trouble. But I do have an external backup. But we know they're looking in concerns of the SSD slot receiving the update. They're also going to turn up the fan sick. From the PC side, do you think do you foresee any problems if they have to turn up the fan to try to cool the system with the SSD?
I'll put it to you like this. Last week, Friday, Best Buy had PlayStations on deck, and had the money, just got paid Friday night, plus taxes on top of that, and the bill's already paid. So I had money to spend. I had a PS5 in that checkout box, and it was one click away. Everything was good to go. But that split second, I had that second thought. Man, it runs hot. People are having glitches, controller, all types of issues, man. And, you have the money burning your hand, burning in your pocket, and you game and you play games all the time. You just want to. I mean, I clown on Sony, but they've done things that deserve clowning. Microsoft did the same last generation and got clowned.
Facts.
I didn't want to get an Xbox One at launch because of the DRM thing. Then the next day they reversed it. And if it wasn't for this man here, I wouldn't have had one. That's fact. Okay, you look at my Twitter from back in those days. I got a picture of it. Me and him are there at the GameStop, right? So I don't support anything that's cool, no matter who does it. Okay. Right. But
dig at my boy PK. Shout out to my brother PK.
What's up, brother? So in that moment of me second guessing myself, and I said to myself, man, screw it. Click on it. It was already gone. Right. Okay. And in hindsight, that was a blessing. Because frankly, I'm going to stick with what I said before. Until there's a redesign, die shrink, whatever have you, I feel the PS5 is running too hot. Now, I'm told it runs quiet. It runs quiet, right, Lemon?
Yes. It runs quiet. I haven't had no problems. Thank God, because I couldn't get a replacement if I did.
Right. But I can only imagine how hard they're running the fan currently to keep it quiet, and if it's just at that line where if they run any louder, any harder, it's going to be audible. Okay? And if they have to increase the fan speed to cover an SSD, and that bay is little, So
That's what
with the heat sink and all of that.
that's why I think that's a design error, because
Yes.
why wouldn't you allow an SSD with a heat sink? Why you make the bay so small and now you worrying about heat? I couldn't.
I think the bay
first
was
of all,
originally fine.
the system
I think
is
the whole thing was originally
huge.
fine.
You trying to tell me they couldn't put like 3 more centimeters on top of that bay? So you could put a SSD with a heat sink on it? They was like, oh, no SSDs with heat sinks. So that's the whole problem. Because anything with memory, your cell phone, if you video record with your cell phone more than 10 minutes, you touch the back of that phone, it's on fire. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Electronics get hot. They didn't anticipate that SSD getting hot, running so fast?
Well, they did. Well, this was my theory. I think they did up until they decided to overclock the chip. We've gotten the GitHub information. This has been right. The technical, real deal facts that proves all this RDNA 3 wasn't true. We have the die shot to back up what this.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Thing.
You saying RDNA 3.0 is not true? Because I thought it was a wrap. I did. I thought it was a wrap. That's what they said. I thought I was getting shot down. I thought it was.
From all the evidence we've known, Sony found out what Microsoft had, and they looked at what they had, and they overclocked it. They ran it harder. They ran it hotter, and the original design wasn't enough for this new version of the PS5, which is running harder and overclocked and all that.
Right.
And instead of redesigning the case, and PJ has the theory that they designed the case first. I could see that too. Who knows? We really don't know.
You know what?
Sure.
First of all,
but
who said that?
to have to run a fan harder.
No. Oh, okay. I agree and say somebody, if an engineer said that, that's kind of crazy. They couldn't have designed the case first because you got to have the motherboard first.
Right, but
that's how it works.
Did way earlier.
That would be
remember, like the GitHub says,
and they should know better than that.
Right. Yeah.
They should know. If that's the case, Sony dropped the ball.
Yeah, Sony dropped the ball, but they dropped the ball even earlier to consider.
Right.
The 1X was 6 teraflops, so they should have known that 9 or 8 or whatever it was original. I believe 9 wasn't going to be enough.
9.2.
Microsoft was going to go harder and higher than that. So they screwed up when they designed long before. They just honestly did. But
you got to also realize too, Microsoft partnered with AMD. Like, even with the Xbox One X, Microsoft owns that patent for that chip because they co-design it. You think they don't own a chip for the Xbox? The new one, the Series X? Of course they do. Because
like they did with the 360. Yep.
Right. So Sony was basically making something. So they got 9.2, and they did what people do whenever they get a graphic card. They overclocked it. Which doesn't stay overclocked. It only goes up when it needs it and it throttles back down. That's how it works. And when people think, oh, it's a 10.3 system or 10.2 system, I'm like, it doesn't stay there. If it gets a little demanding, it runs up for a minute and a half, maybe 2, and drops back down. It's not no 40-minute overclock because it would not exist. Even
situational. It's
situational. Right.
Certainly went into all of that.
The narrative is wrong about the whole complete overclock. Like, it doesn't stay. It's not overclocked to 10.3 in every game. It overclocked when needed, and it's not longer than 2-3 minutes. It can't do it. Any computer can't do it. No. I don't care what computer you got, what graphic card you got, what CPU you got. It cannot do it. The only thing stays clocked at a certain memory bandwidth is memory, period.
Yeah.
If you clock it to 3.0, it's going to be 3.0 all the time. But CPUs and GPUs, and you know what kills me sick is the lack of information from people in the media who know better.
You know,
they know better. I mean, they supposed to give you the right information.
Gaming press. To be frank, gaming press is hot garbage right now. I root for the return of Adam Stutzler, guys like that I've trusted for many years.
Who could build computers blindfolded with no feet and hands.
Yeah.
That dude is the truth.
Yeah.
That's why I watch Gaming Nexus. If y'all want to get some real good information, watch Gaming Nexus. You may not understand them.
Slow down the playback speed because he speaks quickly and shares good information. Slow down that playback. I'm honest. Slow down that playback speed. This is what the man is saying. You're going to learn.
Facts.
Do your homework over time. You'll understand what's going on because there's a lot of things, us technical people who know details, are looking at the whole situation like, no, no, there's too many things that don't add up. There's
Right.
just too many things that don't add up. And so, frankly, I want a PS5, but there needs to be a redesign, a slim, or whatever they call it, to reduce the heat, the power use, and TSMC has their 5 nanometer. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox is on 7. I want one so bad, but I I'm gonna have to wait for that.
Well,
I'm
thank
gonna have
God,
to wait
I
for
really
that.
haven't had no
Sony, you
problems.
did
It really don't make no noise like my PS4 Pro was like it was like a Scud missile. It was
Right.
like,
One more thing I don't understand though, why we don't have external hard drive support, at least to back up our PlayStation 5 games. We don't have that. We're getting.
wait.
We don't have that now. We don't have that now. I think that's coming with this update. I'm not sure.
You
But
know
the
what?
fact that we don't have
I
that
don't-
now to at least back up our games.
I'm gonna try that because I got a 4 terabyte that
No,
I
we
play.
definitely don't have that right now. We definitely don't have
No?
it on the PS5. right
Wow,
now, for
I didn't
sure.
even know
Very
that.
sure. Right. So that's the
Damn.
part I don't understand. Why those two things are part and parcel. Why even now, at least as a crutch, until this SSD expansion is out, why both features are coming together? Because I believe that's exactly what's happening. Even if it's not, and it's giving you expansion SSD.
Well, even
Can you use both SSDs at the same time? I'm not even sure about that.
no, you can.
And-
I have a. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you
You know
can
what
use
I'm saying, on
both
the
SSD.
PS5.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I
Maybe
don't
they can
know.
use both at the same time,
They
like
haven't really.
questions
They
need
really
answering.
been real quiet on that and VRR. So they don't want. They don't
Yeah.
want to. They just don't want to talk about it. But from the technical aspect, you should be able to. You should be able
Yeah.
to. And they really, people saying, oh, they haven't tested no not externals, but no other third-party SSDs, and people assume that the Western Digital is compatible because it's faster than the SSD. But they don't care about testing nobody else stuff because they ain't working hard on it. I think they really they're not pushing the envelope with that. They're just taking their time, man. Like, I know a lot of people don't got VR on their TVs, but the people that do have it, they want it. So,
And this SSD thing, the last thing I want to say on this is, it's kind of bad tidings that this is coming out in June, summertime. So now, an update that potentially is going to run your system hotter if you put in, an SSD, has to run the fans hotter. It's already prone to having issues for some people that seems to be heat related. This is a potential for a storm of this shit. No thank you.
Right.
No thank you.
Right.
I'll wait for a die shrink. No thank you.
right.
Hurry up, Sony, because I do want it. Like,
Well,
I'm
look,
not trying to hate on them, but it's just not
I told my
what it
guy, I
needs to
said,
be right
listen, man, I said, listen, this is the first Sony system that I feel that if I buy a game on it, I'm not absolutely getting the worst version anymore. Because it was before,
Yeah.
nope, I'm not buying that, nope. You know what I'm saying? I'll wait for Xbox
Yeah.
version. So, it's,
Yeah.
I can go,
Always
okay, I can accept this little issue, you know what I'm saying? But it's good to see that at least this generation, they took the next generation step. They wasn't trying to promote movies. They was really like, let's make a gaming system. I do like the dashboard and stuff. I think that's cool too. But yeah, with that being said, man, shout out to everybody in the chat, and I appreciate y'all, man. We're gonna take off 50 minutes in. First episode of the Dragon's Den. I am very, very, very excited, and I appreciate everybody. Definitely, man, this has been a nice little journey for me. And what can I say? The people came out supporting me, PK, who's in the chat, my boy Sick forever. So I definitely appreciate everybody. I will be seeing y'all on the next one. And with this being said, this week it's not over. This week's video, maybe my first video this week. Hit that like and subscribe, man. It's greatly appreciated. I will be announcing the winner. Whoever makes a comment and is interested in Little Nightmares 2, I'm giving a game to. Not somebody who probably already got it, who didn't say nothing. So people, just to be entered, you can hit this video, comment on it. If you're interested in that game, I'll be giving that copy away. March game hasn't been announced yet, and April's game will be the MLB, and hopefully we get a chance to play with each other, because I've been buying MLB since they've been out on my PlayStation platform. So it's good to see my Xbox community have a chance to play this game with a community, with another community, and have a great time, man. Like I always say, yo, Sick, where can they find you, Sick? Where can they find you? Let's go there first.
You can find me everywhere where great games are played, on every platform. Find me on social media. You know the name, Six Flair, no C. You'll find me there. Just holler at me.
Now, with that being said,
I just wanted to say one last thing real quick. I just wanted to thank everybody in the chat and all the support. This has been a long time coming. Thank you so much. And this is just the beginning. This is just the warm up. Get ready. Get ready.
Yeah, I'm not even moving. I'm in here sweating. Like, damn. I'm gonna have to buy a fan for the next episode. But yeah, boy, man, I appreciate y'all, man. And like I always say, man, bring your game and not your name. Peace, and everybody in head grease. Let's get it. That's it, son. It's over. Outro is on. We muted. People like the show. Mad people showed up. You know what I'm saying? I'm in here sweating. I got the outro on. Look at the YouTube channel so you can see the outro. People liked it. We'll be back next week. We're going to have PK on. What? Hold on. They said we're not muted. Oh, damn. Well, you know what, yo? I don't even know why you hear me. You know what I'm saying?